We are listening Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi. There is a content which was recorded around the date 24th June 1935. Here, a doubt in Sri Ramana Gita was corrected by Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi. This is in continuation with the talk 57. Let's start. Chapter 14, stanza 10 reads that with yet further progress, invisibility also may result. Such a one, being pure consciousness only, flourishes as a Siddha. Chapter 18, last stanza reads, the glory of the Siddhis is past imagination. They are equal to Shiva, Shiva himself in being able to grant boons. The meaning is that with self-realization, real and incessant tapas results. With the maturing of such tapas, some jnanis can make their bodies intangible and invisible. They are known as Siddhas. Latter, the greatness of the Siddhas is incomprehensible. They are equal to Shiva and can grant boons. So said Sri Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. There is an Upanishad mantra Atma Jnana Yachareta Bhuti Kamaha. One desirous of liberation or wealth must serve a self-realized sage. Here is no mention of Siddha for granting boons. The Jnani can do so. The mantras again Swa Mahimna Pratishtitaha, that the Jnani used to abide in his own grandeur. Anantam Brahma, Brahma is infinite, will seem confounding when read with shlokas cited above. Sarvam Khalvida Brahma, all this is Brahma. Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knower of Brahma becomes Brahma itself. Show that a Jnani is Sarvagya, all-knower. What then is the distinction between the Jnani and the Siddha, and the ability of the Siddha to grant boons, implying the absence of it in the Jnani? This was the doubt, and the master explained. The Gita questions were asked in a certain spirit. The answers were according to it. People look to the body only, and they want Siddhis also. With self-realization, no powers can extend even into it. And how can they extend beyond? People anxious for Siddhis are not content with their idea of Jnana and so want Siddhis associated with it. They are likely to neglect the supreme happiness of Jnana and aspire for Siddhis. For this, they are going through the by-lanes instead of the royal path and so will likely lose their way. In order to guide them right and keep them on the royal road alone, the Siddhis are said to accompany Jnana. In fact, Jnana comprises all, and a Jnani will not waste even a thought on them. Let the people get Jnana and then seek Siddhis if they so desire. Ramana Maharshi said, I have said, Sharira Sams Raya Siddhaya. The Siddhis relate to the body. Because their outlook is concerning the body, a Jnani and a Siddha are not different. In Varanadatam, to bestow boons, the boons include Atmalabh, the gain of self also. The Siddhis are not merely of an inferior order but of the highest order. The Shastras are meant to suit varying conditions, their spirit remains the same. In Halasya Mahima, there is a chapter on the eightfold Siddhis. There Shiva says that his bhakta never wastes a thought on them. Again, Shiva says that he never grants boons. The desires of the devotees are fulfilled according to their prarabdha only. When Ishvara himself says so, what of others? In order to display Siddhis, there must be others to recognize them. That means there is no Jnana in the one who displays them. Therefore, Siddhis are not worthy of any thought. Jnana alone is to be aimed at and gained. Sri Ramana Gita, chapter 17, verse 4, translation in Tamil is inaccurate. Sri Bhagavan pointed out the inaccuracy and corrected it. Vaidharva's question was, in practice, the thoughts are found to manifest and subside alternately. Is this Jnana? Sri Bhagavan explained the doubt as follows. Some people think that there are different stages in Jnana. The Self is Nitya Aparoksha, that is, ever realized, knowingly or unknowingly. Shravana, they argue, should therefore be Aparoksha Jnana, directly experienced, and not Paroksha Jnana, indirect knowledge. But Jnana should result in dukkha nivritti, loss of misery, whereas Shravana alone does not bring it about. Therefore, they say, though Aparoksha, it is not unshaken. The rising of Vasanas is the cause of it being weak, not unchanging. When the Vasanas are removed, Jnana becomes unshaken and bears fruit. Others say Shravana is only Paroksha Jnana. By manana, reflection, it becomes Aparoksha spasmodically. The obstruction to its continuity is the Vasana. They rise up with reinforced vigor after manana. They must be held in check. Such vigilance consists in remembering I am not the body only, and adhering to the Aparoksha Anubhava, direct experience which has been had in course of manana reflection. Such practice is called Nididhyasana and eradicates the Vasanas. Then dawns the Sahaja state, that is Jnana, surely. The Aparoksha in manana cannot effect dukkha nivritti, loss of misery, and cannot amount to moksha, that is release from bondage, because the vasana periodically overpower the jnana. Hence it is adrid, weak, and becomes firm after the vasana have been eradicated by nididhyasana, one-pointedness. Sri Ramana Gita again. Mr. T.K.S. Iyer, a devotee, was speaking of the chakras. Sri Bhagavan said, Atma, the self alone, is to be realized. Its realization holds all else in its compass. Shakti, Ganapati, Siddhis, etc. are included in it. Those who speak of these have not realized the Atma. Atma is in the heart and is the heart itself. The manifestation is in the brain. The passage from the heart to the brain might be considered to be through Sushumna or a nerve with any other name. The Upanishads say Paralina, meaning that Sushumna or such nadis are all comprised in Para, that is the Atmanadi. The yogis say that the current rising up to Sahasrar brain ends there. That experience is not complete. For Jnana, they must come to the heart. Hriday, the heart is the Alpha, and this heart is the Omega. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Talk 58. Mr. Ranganathan, the ICS, he is telling that in Srimad Bhagavad Gita there is a passage. The passage that one's own dharma is the best, and an alien dharma is full of rests. What is the significance of one's own dharma? Ramana Maharshi replied that it is usually interpreted to mean the duties of the orders and of the different castes. The physical environment must also be taken into consideration. Then the devotee said, if Varnashram Dharma be meant, such dharma prevails only in India. On the other hand, the Gita should be universally applicable. Ramana Maharshi replied that there is Varnashram in some form or other in every land. The significance is that one should hold on to the single Atma and not swerve therefrom. That is the whole gist of it. Swa means one's own, that is, of the self, of the Atma. Para means the others, of the non-self, of the Anatma. Atma Dharma is inherent in the self. There will be no distraction and no fear when this Atma Dharma is followed. Troubles arise only when there is a second to oneself. If the Atma be realized to be only unitary, there is no second and therefore no cause for fear. The man, as he is now, confounds the Anatma, non-self dharma, with Atma, the self dharma, and hence suffering. Let him know the self and abide in it, and there is an end of fear with this, and hence there will not be doubt arising. Ramana Maharshi is telling further that even if interpreted as Varnashram Dharma, the significance is only this much. Such dharma bears fruit only when done selflessly. That is, one must realize that he is not the doer, but that he is only a tool of some higher power. Let the higher power do what is inevitable, and let me act only according to its dictate. The actions are not mine, therefore the results also not mine. If one thinks and acts so, where is the trouble? Be it Varnashram Dharma or be it Laukik Dharma, it is then immaterial. Hence, finally, it just amounts to this. Swa, Atmana of the self, Para, Anatmana of the non-self. Such doubts are natural. The orthodox interpretation cannot be reconciled with the life of a modern man obliged to work for his livelihood in different capacities. Then When Ramana Maharshi was explaining this, a man from Pondicherry interposed. Sarva dharmam parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Leaving all duties, surrender to me only. On this, Sri Bhagavan said, all, that is sarva, is only anatmana of the non-self. The emphasis is on ekam only. To the man who has strong hold of the Ek One, where are the dharmas? It means be sunk in the self. Then the devotee said that the Gita was taught for action. Ramana Maharshi replied, what does the Gita say? Arjun refused to fight. Krishna said, so long as you refuse to fight, you have the sense of doership. Who are you to refrain or to act? Give up the notion of doership. Until that sense disappears, you are bound to act. You are being manipulated by a higher power. You are admitting it by your own refusal to submit to it. Instead, recognize the power and submit as a tool, or to put it differently, if you refuse, you will be forcibly drawn into it. Instead of being an unwilling worker, be a willing one. Rather be fixed in the self and act according to nature without the thought of doership. Then the results of action will not affect you. That is manliness, and that is true heroism. Thus, inherent or inherence in the self is the sum and substance of teaching of Sri Bhagavad Gita. Finally, the Master himself added, if a man be established in the self, these doubts would not arise. They arise only until he is established there in the doubt. Then the devotee said, then Maharshi, of what use is such a reply to the enquirer? Ramana Maharshi lovingly said that the words still have force and will surely operate in due course in due time. Talk 59. A Maulavi asked, Bhagavan, how does sleep overtake one? Ramana Maharshi said, if the inquirer knows who is awake in the wakeful condition, he will also know how sleep comes on. The inquiry arises only to the waking man and not to the sleeper. It must be easier to know the waking self than the sleeping self. Then that Maulavi, that devotee, said that, Maharshi, I know how I awoke, but I do not know how sleep comes on. I am aware of my wakeful state. For instance, if anyone takes away my stick, I prevent his doing so, whereas I cannot do so in sleep or in dream. The proof of wakefulness is evident, but what is the proof of sleep? Ramana Maharshi said that your ignorance is the evidence of sleep. Your awareness is that of wakefulness. Then the devotee said, my wakefulness is known by the opening of my eye, but how does sleep overtake me? In the same way as sleep overtakes you, wakefulness also overtakes you, replied Ramana Maharshi. Then the devotee said, but I do not perceive how sleep comes on in the same way as I know my wakefulness. Maharshi replied, never mind. Please describe what is sleep. Without illustrations, sleep by itself should be known. I want a real picture of sleep. Such picture is sleep itself, said Ramana Maharshi. Is it better to reach salvation being married or being a hermit? Maharshi said, whatever you think, that is better. Then that Maulavi, that devotee said, Visvamitra had no fall when in the married state, whereas he had a fall in his hermit life. Does it not apply to others also? Maharshi said, Visvamitra was as pure in the hermit life as when he was married. There was no difference. He was as contaminated when married as when he was a hermit. Let us repeat this answer one more time. This answer: Visvamitra was as pure in the hermit life as when he was married. There was no difference. He was as contaminated when married as when he was a hermit. He said, it is all in you. You see what you have in you. Visvamitra is not the content for you. For you, you are the content. Whatever runs, but the background is always the same. Go to that background, and then there will not be any question. Then that devotee asked, Maharshi, was he a rishi? Maharshi said, when contaminated, he was not a rishi. Can he become a rishi afterwards? Ramana Maharshi said, yes, by proper bhakti, he could become a good rishi. Repentance and prayer will set him right. Then that devotee said, with all your penance or tapasya for so many years, what have you got? Ramana Maharshi said, I have got what need be got. I see what need be seen. Devotee said, can all see the same? I see only just what all do. It is immanent in all, there is no difference. Then the devotee asked, is this the way for seeing it? Maharshi said, Method may be anything. From whatever directions the pilgrims may gather, they must enter the Kaaba only by one passage or route, or all gather only to enter the Kaaba. Devotee said, Maharshi, please tell me two upadesh on the way to salvation as known by you. Ramana Maharshi replied, what upadesh do I know? Everything is upadesh. Worship of God is the only upadesh. Now time to take a pause. Thanks for listening.